Hey guys, we want to do a video on carnivore keto, what it is to us, why we do it, and what are some of our meal plans. What does it look like? A lot of people would ask us, what are the actual meals you make, and let us see what you guys eat in a day or a week or whatever it is. So that's what we're going to do. So first of all, defining it. So carnivore keto, we get 30 grams or fewer of carbohydrates per day, each of us. And so the rest of our calories come from proteins or fats. And so I do some sugar grams sometimes, and then she does basically no grain or sugar whatsoever. And so we don't have like grains and sugars like sitting around the house as snacks or anything like that. But all of our meals basically are, fit that criteria for in a day to be carnivore / keto. And so as far as why we do it, we just feel better. We're not trying to be trendy. We're not like selling diet plans or something, but it helps us, and I think it helps a lot of people too. So go ahead and you can dive into the meal plans and some of the things you make.
Okay. One thing that I wanted to point out though, when you're talking about we keep track of our carbs, we don't track calories though. We just eat until we feel full, which is all the time. We have plenty of good food to eat. That was my point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't feel deprived because of the way we're eating at all.
No.
And our kids say the same thing too. So the way we meal plan, or I guess the way I meal plan, because Stuart doesn't actually help me with the meal planning too much, is I do one whole week menu, and then we repeat it 4 times every month, and then I switch it every month because I like change. Stuart could probably do the same menu forever, but maybe. So for breakfast, some of the things that we have are going to sound pretty normal, but we're going to be taking out the high carb vegetables, and we're not going to be adding grains or flours or that kind of thing. So eggs and bacon scrambles, or eggs and sausage scrambles, carnivore pancakes. So that's going to be pretty different as far as pancakes go, because it's just going to be eggs and cream cheese, maybe some baking soda or aluminum-free baking powder or something like that in there to give it some lift if you want. And then you can use those savory or sweet. If we're going to make something sweet, it's going to have a natural sweetener on it, if anything at all. So fruit, maybe a tiny bit of honey or maple syrup, but we use those really sparingly. So I think the bottle that we've had for a couple months at least, and it's a small bottle of maple syrup, so we don't use very much. Breakfast BLTs, so we might use eggs for the sandwich part, or we might use lettuce for the sandwich part of those, or even tomatoes, but so no grains, no breads or anything like that. It would be something like that. Breakfast casseroles, we do a whole lot of breakfast casseroles, especially right now because it's so easy, because we all have different morning schedules.
And the breakfast casseroles we made really easy to make, so anybody really can make it. Just mix it up the night before and put it in the crock pot, put it on low, and then unplug it in the morning, let it cool, and then it's ready to go. Very simple to do.
So from those, we'd pick a meat, so sausage, ham, bacon, beef, something like that. Then it'd have eggs, then usually some kind of cheese, cheddar, Swiss, pepper jack, whatever kind of cheese fits with the meat and whatever we're wanting to make. And then maybe a low carb vegetable, so broccoli, cauliflower, some greens, onions, peppers, mushrooms, that kind of stuff. So we can mix it up and change that up so it doesn't get too boring for all of us. Sometimes we do smoothies. That's not too often. That's more of a special thing. The kids' would have probably more fruit in it than ours. Ours is going to be mostly like cream and eggs, so almost like eggnog. Cream and eggs, maybe avocado, or maybe a little bit of fruit in it, stuff like that. Breakfast pizza, that could have an egg crust, or it could have almond flour and cheese crust, or it could have chicken crust, but then basically your same kind of normal breakfast pizza toppings on top of that. Keto cinnamon rolls, when we make those, that would be a special thing. We don't do that very often when we make them sweet. But it would be almond flour and mozzarella cheese is the base for the crust, plus, some leavening agents and salt and stuff. And then we would use maybe a little bit of maple syrup inside there with the cinnamon, and then cream cheese on the top with maybe a little bit more maple syrup, but it's going to be pretty negligible. We don't go through very much maple syrup for our family. Or we do the savory breakfast rolls. So like a cinnamon roll, except for we don't put sweet stuff in there. We'll put sausage and cheese and top it with jalapenos and cheese and stuff like that. Cheesecake, so kind of like your traditional cheesecake, but without the sugar in it. Our kids would put fruit, like a lot more fruit on there. I might put a little bit, so it depends how much you want to have on there. Or a fruit custard, so just like a normal custard, but with some fruit in there and maybe some fruit juice as the natural sweetener, otherwise nothing. So those are a variety. So obviously you can have quite a bit of variety in there with breakfast, and that's just what we've had. That's not saying you have to have those to be on keto. That's just what we've done that we've liked. Lunches, also again, we could do cheesecake. You could even make a savory cheesecake. We've done a variety of different kinds of fat bombs. So usually that includes, I know this sounds silly, usually that includes some kind of meat. So like for a hamburger fat bomb, it's going to be hamburger. For pizza, it might be sausage and pepperonis, and then usually cream cheese and or some other kind of cheese and some seasonings on there. For the hamburger ones, you'd put in pickle and onion maybe or something, and you roll it up and eat it. Yeah, so again, hard-boiled eggs or deviled eggs. We'd make our own mayonnaise ourselves without seed oils. Usually we use bacon fat, which is pretty yummy. Makes pretty good mayo. Yes. Chicken salad or turkey salad. You could do a sandwich with tomatoes or lettuce on that, or you can wrap it like with a lettuce wrap. Salmon patties. Lunch meat sandwiches or wraps. So again, use the lunch meat for the wrap or the lettuce for the wrap, and put the ingredients in there that you want to. When we do that, we don't put a lot of veggies in ours. It's usually mostly meat and cheese, but you could add whatever low carb veggies that you wanted in there. Tuna salad sandwiches, same kind of thing. Chicken and egg salad, usually, so it's like chicken, big chunks of chicken mixed with egg salad when we make that, and usually we just eat it with our forks, not on a wrap, but you could totally put it in a wrap too. Smoothies again, carnivore ice cream or keto pudding, those ones we like for in the summertime a lot. So again, it's kind of like eggnog more for us. Maybe have some avocado in there to make it
And
creamy.
there are, as far as ice cream goes, there are brands of ice cream that are keto. Like there's Rebel ice cream that has some really good, really good ice cream with low carbohydrates and sugars.
Yeah, that one. So that's not something that we have all the time, but if we're going out somewhere and we want to get something special, we would get that one. It does have erythritol in it, but no sugars. It does actually have real cream and real eggs, which is hard to find in an ice cream. So that was a better compromise if we wanted something special when we go out. Hamburger salad, so make yourself like a big cheese, what you would put on your cheeseburger or hamburger, and then just put it on a bed of lettuce, and it's really, really good. We do grilled tomatoes with cheese or cucumber cream cheese sandwiches. You can throw bacon on those, that's pretty yummy. Cottage cheese mixed with our fish. We usually do a canned salmon, but you could do fresh salmon or smoked salmon with it. That'd be really yummy too. Taco salad. So we'd make it like a regular taco salad without the oil-based dressings. We might use sour cream and salsa still, but no any like ranch or Dorothy Lynch or any of those kind of salad dressing things. And we wouldn't use tortilla chips, but we might use pork rinds if we needed a crunch. Philly steak. Oh, so then the other ones are different kinds of chaffles. If you haven't heard of chaffles, I know it's silly. They're cheese waffles. So it's cheese and eggs mixed together, about half a cup of cheese, shredded cheese mixed with an egg to make a waffle. You can play around with it. You could just make egg waffles, but it's just a way to kind of make something to hold it that feels kind of like bread. They taste pretty good. So you could do any amount of things with it. I mean, just like you would with any sandwiches. You can make pizza.
Really good.
Yeah, that one was like a Mexican style one. You could do grilled cheese or tuna melts, all different kinds of chaffles. So for dinners, we've been doing a lot of casseroles again, just because it's easy when we're outside working to just put it in there right at lunchtime, and then it's ready at dinner time. So taco casserole, we wouldn't have any layers of enchilada, or tortillas in there. It would have a layer of eggs or something like that to break it up. But
We should put a layer of enchiladas in there.
silly. Egg roll in a bowl. That one you can find recipes for online. So it's like all the ingredients of an egg roll, but with no wrapper. So you just use the fork. Pizza casserole. So you're layering the ingredients in there like a pizza, but without a crust, or you're using meat for the crust. So sausage or chicken, ground chicken. Those both make pretty good pizza crust type crusts. Cheeseburger casserole. So same things, you're layering all your cheeseburger type ingredients in there, or just mixing it all together. That one's really good. Creamy mushroom and chicken soup. That one's a big hit.
Yep.
Bacon cheeseburger soup. That one also. Meat lasagna. Same thing. Like everybody really likes a lot of these meals. So
meat lasagna is just basically meat, like it sounds, meat lasagna. You just layer in meats
with
and
sauce and cheese.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really yummy. If you wanted to add low carb veggies to that, you could add eggplant, or you could add zucchini or something like that, so it felt more like there was something in there, but we didn't mind it just the way it was. Zuppa Toscana, so without the sauce,
potatoes.
or without the potatoes, yeah. Meat says, so like a pizza, but we're using a meat-based crust, so either sausage or chicken and mozzarella or something like that.
The kids like making these too. They're like,
oh yeah,
they're like little
sausage
sausage rounds, sausage patty rounds, and then you put the pizza sauce on there with a single pepperoni or something, and some cheese, and then it's like miniature handheld pizzas with just a little sausage,
like the little pizza
biscuit.
bagels that you would get.
Right.
Chicken cordon bleu casserole, so that one is, we do it in casserole instead of stuffing the chicken and all of that and rolling it and stuff, but same ingredients. Tacos or nachos, so again, we can't do any of the tortillas or anything like that, but you could use pork rinds, or you can make cheese tacos where you melt the cheese and you put it in a skillet and then you hang it over something. Yeah, we haven't done this. You guys wouldn't
listen.
It would take forever to do it for our family because you guys would keep stealing them as I was making them.
That's true.
Anyway, you grill the cheese and then you hang it. But we did have it at the expo, remember? They had cheese.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, and then you just hang it over something so that it forms the cheese forms into that as it cools, the taco shape. But yeah, I don't take the time to do that. We just do this with pork rinds. Burritos, so you can use a lettuce wrap for that, or you can just make it like a burrito bowl. So no beans or no corn in those, or rice. It's just going to be the other meats and veggies and stuff. Hamburger helper type things. So again, no pasta in there, but you can still have a cheesy type sauce or with some of those low carb veggies.
Yeah.
Cheeseburgers, of course, bunless or with using tomatoes as your bun. Meatloaf, so just don't put your oatmeal or flour or whatever that you're using to help bind it. You wouldn't put those in there. You can use crushed pork rinds if you need something to help bind it. Enchilada casserole, so same as the taco casserole, you're using layers of eggs in there. That works really well. Jalapeno tuna casserole, so again, no pasta. This is just going to be the tuna and cheese and maybe some other low-carb veggies topped with cheese and jalapenos. Creamy spinach casserole, fajita casserole, green bean casserole with sausage, beef and broccoli. So that one, a lot of Asian dishes can be made low carb as long as you're watching the sauce part that goes on there. We don't use soy sauce because I'm trying to avoid soy right now, but we do use, you could use wheat-free tamari if you wanted to, or you could use, like we do, coconut aminos or something like that in there to get that flavor of the soy type sauce. Yeah, so that's just some of our meals for the last few months. So if you kind of get an idea, like we have a lot of choices that we can make, and it isn't too hard to modify some of those normal recipes that we liked before to make them keto friendly.
Right.
and we don't feel deprived. Oh, for snacks, Stuart and I don't snack very much because we don't really get that hungry in between meals. But for our kids, they don't eat keto like us all the time. They can have carbs and stuff. They get to have as much in-season fruit as they pick outside on our farm, and then some that we get from the grocery store too, or locally. But they might have hard-boiled eggs or cheese sticks. We might have nuts or fruit, fresh, frozen, or dried. Just be careful with dried because your carbs and your sugar can add up really quickly with those, because you can eat a lot more. Pickles, trail mix, smoothies, ice cream, keto pudding, that kind of stuff. We do buy bars and things like that for our kids sometimes for snacks. The RX bars and Epic bars are a good choice for kids. Probably not for keto. Epic maybe for keto, but not the RX bars probably, or Lyra bars, because they have quite a few carbs in them. But
Yeah.
there are some other bars, but some of them have pretty questionable
in general,
ingredients.
like Lyra bars are good and everything. It's just if you are trying to keep under a certain number of
Yes.
carbohydrates in a day, then they're pretty high in carbs.
Right, they've got a lot of
So-
sugar in them, so.
Right.
Sometimes our kids have smoothie bowls. And like we said, sometimes if we're out, we make the best choice that we can with something. Like if we are out and we need a snack, we might get pork rinds, or we might get hard-boiled eggs that are already peeled and everything. You can get those in a lot of grocery stores in the, like the dairy egg section.
Yeah.
Or lunch meat or sausage or something like that, or even the chicken that's out by the register at some places, rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
That's not breaded. We might get that if we needed to, if we were out. And there are some keto snacks, like you saying, the Rebel ice cream. If we were out, we wouldn't, and we wanted something special, we would get that. Or there are some keto chocolates that don't have a lot of ingredients in them, but in general, we try to avoid keto things because usually they're pretty non-nutritive and they have a huge list of ingredients that's just not really that great for us. Even though it's low carb, it's not good, so we try not to do that. Oh, jerky is another thing that sometimes it does have added sugar or things like that, but
Sometimes
it's a
that's
better
a snack, yeah.
better choice than other things. So
Yep.
as far as beverages, at home we mostly just drink water. We put salt in our water a lot of times for electrolytes, so just Redmond salt mixed in there. Stuart drinks coffee every day.
Yeah. Like if I had run this whole video, I think I would say, well, bacon and coffee. Do you have any questions? It's pretty simple, this carnivore diet. I mean, she likes to complicate it with all these recipes and food. No, I like it. Everybody likes it, but you can simplify too,
Yeah. So in your coffee, what do you put in your coffee?
I do put the heavy whipping cream, and so that's basically it. I like cold coffee, and if I'm feeling like one day out of, I don't know, every few weeks I might add some little bit of sweetener in there or something, but it's just coffee, either black or just with cream. Mm-hmm. Heavy whipping cream.
Sometimes we do tea, but it's gonna either have a little bit of stevia just because of the tea blend, or it'll have maybe some honey, but usually it's just plain. Sometimes we've had mixed drinks. We just watch our carbs. We don't add sugar to them. Or wine, same thing. 1 glass of wine is about 5 carbs, so if you're budgeting your carbs, you could have a glass of wine occasionally too. That's not a common thing for us, but it's an option. So this should give you a pretty good idea of the kinds of things that we eat or that we have eaten. And is there anything else that we want to talk about?
I don't think so. Just if you have any questions, or you've got your own story as far as carnivore, how it helps or maybe doesn't help, that happens too, depending on your body chemistry. That can happen. And so just let us know in the comments, and
Yeah, we'd love to hear. If you have any questions about any of the recipes for any of that stuff, let me know, and we can drop links in the comments and stuff too.
All right, thanks for watching.
Guys.
Bye.